Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Ghost hunters. I've on occasion poked fun at them in the past, but realistically, it's the best entry point to studying the paranormal. We've seen on all these TV shows where they show up with their infrared thermometers and you know EVP detectors and all that sort of thing. But that's the wonderful part. It adds to the experience. Not it's not attracting anything if you don't have that equipment. Ghost hunters also have the easiest job in my opinion. This is not to detract from them. But to go look at a UFO or a Sasquatch or, you know, find evidence for the mad gasser of Mattoon, which I covered already, ghost hunters kind of know which houses are supposed to be haunted and which ones are not supposed to be, so they know where to go. In some cases, you can even book these places and stake them out overnight and figure out what's going on. One area I think ghost hunters are seriously underrated is the amount of research they do before they go into a place. This is something none of the other paranormal experiencers and investigators can really do. We don't know what UFOs are, or what is it, AEPs, airborne something phenomena? Don't know. But Sasquatch, yeah, you can stake out a trail over half a year if you have the time and money. But like I said, the beauty about ghost hunters is they already have a target. They can sit down and do library or internet research without mounting an expedition, setting up trail cameras and stuff like that. So really, it's the most accessible paranormal phenomena. Now, I'm sure if you and your friends are going to decide, hey, let's try and watch a ghost today or try to figure out what the mysterious wrappings are that come from the house down the hill. That sounds like a good horror movie name, The House Down the Hill. But yeah, you have so much more opportunity to talk to the locals, to interview them, to get to know them. Now, the problem with paranormal investigators is there's the ones that take it very seriously. They'll have you sign a disclaimer, an affidavit that says they can use the information you gave them and stuff. And other ones are like the Scooby-Doo gang, except with less self-restraint. They think if they run all around a house all night, then they'll get some sort of positive results. No. You go in, you set up your equipment, and then you see what happens. And you're respectful of the people around you. If you're looking for a statement from friends, relatives, whoever it is, it's always proper to be polite. Some people think, I am on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on whatever it is, I have so many followers. Here's this 17-page questionnaire I want you to answer. No, 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 no. Remember, people value their time. So you got to distill that 17-page questionnaire down into one, and then do some data analysis off of that. Sure, a few people are going to fill that survey out, but for a lot of people, it's going to be put in the this is my pile of stuff to get to when I get to it, or worse, the trash bin. Again, that's where you get into the two different types of ghost hunting groups. One is extremely respectful. Um, Spooky South Coast. I don't even know if that show is around anymore, but they've noticed the same thing where some people go in, have a party, and trash the place, and they call that ghost hunting. And other ones are honestly there trying to get readings. They claim they've had successful contact with what they believe to be the ghosts of Lizzie Borden. And they present a compelling case because they followed a scientific procedure. What can we eliminate? What resources can we bring? They brought a psychic in, and I'm going to say I don't have a problem with that. But the same token, when you're mixing variables, a psychic who's I'm sorry, there's no way to determine the accuracy of a psychic, especially when dealing with a ghost, a ghoul, a goblin, whatever it might be. That's no offense to psychics. Psychics can be very helpful. But I don't know if you could really lean on that as evidence other than, as always, circumstantial evidence. And not everybody has a psychic in their group. Or maybe they do. I don't know how many psychics are out there, although just going off the number of people that do tarot readings and supposedly psychic stuff, they claim they can do all that stuff. They don't need to be in direct contact with you. They can do it over the phone. And if there's a way to link to somebody's mind or emotions or anything like that, I see no reason that we should have an effective range. So if you can find a psychic that you have tested and has met your standards, I would say they're a definite asset to a group. Not essential. All the equipment. You can go nuts here. You know what? As far as a hobby goes, ghost hunting's no different from ham radio operators, from model train collectors, stamp collectors. There is potentially a substantial startup cost. And this is the same in almost any hobby these days. But the end result is that you get a better experience depending on how much you spend. You could go in there with a camera phone, a couple lights, and just sit around and listen. I have a EVP detector in my phone, and I found it was interesting. Like I said, there was a couple strange noises. Most of them I could identify. Oh, that's the sound of a car coming down on the road just to the west of me. But it's exciting when you first get noises back on it. Oh, look, we got something, you probably do, but it might not be what you think it is. But I have a control radius where I can set it up. There's a nice office here where I plug it in anyway, so it can be sitting alone. And it's actually kind of funny sometimes to listen to it and hear my wife and kid and everybody get up and go out the door and stuff. Like, it's a very sensitive piece of equipment. Well, sensitive piece of software. It doesn't take up too much room on the phone as far as megabytes, and it isolates what might be unusual, what might not be. The guy revving his engine, yeah, if I wanted to be a little more imaginative, I could probably present that as a ghost's howl. But I know my house is not particularly haunted any more than anywhere else. And there's very little reason to suppose that ghosts would prefer my location over anywhere else. That being said, I always keep an open mind. So, if you're going to get involved in investigation as a hobby, and as long as you're respectful and you treat people politely, there's no reason you shouldn't. You might even learn something. It's absolutely worthwhile. And like I said, you can spend as much as you want or as little as you want. Maybe people can chip in together and that'll get you a higher quality camera. Maybe one that records into the infrared and ultraviolet. Maybe you can get one of those scanners. And I find it interesting that they can point these scanners at a point and say, ooh, the temperature there is dropping. Hey, we don't know what it is. This is worth studying. But let me promise you something. You're not getting rich. Unless you're really good at monetizing things, and Spooky South Coast, they already had jobs at a radio station, so they were given the Saturday night death slot where, They don't care what's on as long as it doesn't cost them much money and get somebody to tune into them. That would be one way to monetize it. YouTube, TikTok, you name it. It all depends on your charisma and your capability. Because a bunch of people stumbling around in the dark, maybe that's fun for an escape room or something like that, but it doesn't really enhance the science any. Do good silence. I keep saying be polite because more happens to people that are polite. That's simply humans treating each other like humans. And you'll find yourself being banned from some places if bad things keep happening. Doesn't matter whether it's you, a ghost, or a bunch of teenagers smoking pot in the basement that you scared when you went in. The onus is on you to be a professional, to be polite, and to document everything as best as you can. Overall, I'm going to say ghost hunting is a positive thing. And it could do more, but the same token, the data is building up. Maybe before 2030, I'll start really doing a deep dive into it and collect as much of it as possible. But my writing schedule is filled up until basically 2030. So maybe expect that in the next decade. Maybe, because I hate editing stuff. But anyways, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. It's a bit of an easy one. Monday, keep our feet up and try to make it through another week as human beings do. If you did, please like and share, because sharing is caring. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Please click on the notification bell down below or whatever it is that you have. That way you can be kept abreast of every time we release a new show, usually every day about noon. I will miss one or two here and there because I'm a one-person show. And with that, we hope you have a fantastic day.